Brooke, thank you so much for joining me on Aha Moments podcast. How are you doing today?
Well, thank you, Kobi. You caught me on a Friday, so I'm good actually. Thank you. Yeah, no, really excited to be here, and all good. Busy but good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good. Like I say, Friday is a great day to have these. I always enjoy these conversations, but also puts a spring in my step when I've got a pod recording on. So it's great to speak to you and get to know you through the next half hour or so. Before we started talking, you said you're training for a marathon, and that's your weekend plans. Does that fill you with dread or excitement? The long run that you need to do on the weekend before as part of your marathon training.
Yeah. I think it's mixed emotions. I have like a love-hate relationship with it at the moment, where I was running for just trying to keep fit and get fitter because I put on some weight over COVID and had to get rid of that like festiveness that had happened over, not like all COVID. I was like, come on, you've got to get fit again. I love my walking. So did Couch to 5K and just started running for pleasure. And then one of my lovely team, who is a athlete and could just probably run 100 miles off the back, was like, just go for a marathon, it'll be fine, you'll be fine. I was like, So signed up, and then I was like, oh God, now I really have to do it.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love the feeling of the achievement afterwards, but I do still get that, oh God. Oh no, not now. I'm up at 5 a.m. in the week to go out for a run, then walk the dog, and then get to my desk. So it's a lot to fit in. I don't know how people do it with children, because I don't have children. So I have a newfound respect for how busy people are.
It was way easier before I had the kid, and it's harder with. And now I try to carve out a bit of time in lunchtime out of the work period. So that works, but that doesn't work for a long run. I can't take out 3 hours for a long run.
This is it. I could just farm the dog off to my partner and then say, right, you're dog duty, and I'm going to be out for 3 hours, and then hopefully make it home, driving home in a sweaty mess.
What I used to find was the long weekend run. I'd wake up like 6 o'clock and I'd spend like an hour making porridge when something that normally should take like 10 minutes. I've noticed it would take me like the longest time to make and eat it, because I'd be like, I'd be fully dressed, making this porridge, I'd dragging my feet, and then it's like, okay, we just got to get out the door now.
Get out there. Come on, Kobi, get out.
And once you get out the door, it's fine. And once you get back, it's amazing. And then you're like, I should have just started earlier.
Do you find the eating part of it, the fueling part, is the hardest? Because I don't eat in the morning normally. I kind of start eating at lunch. That's just my normal eating rhythm. But now I'm doing the long runs, I do have to try and
eat you first.
Yeah. It's hard to get that right though, because then you get cramp, and then you've got a stitch, and then emergency toilet breaks are going on, on the way.
That's it is all part of the practice. It is like genuinely finding food you're going to eat on the morning before the run, your marathon, is like a key thing. So don't like suddenly decide to have a full breakfast the morning before, because
it's amazing actually how such small changes in your food really have a massive impact on your performance.
It's 100%. Now I'm eating. I'm not training as much as I used to, but now I'm making a lot of my own food from scratch.
Yes.
I do notice a lot of difference, and at the moment I'm not eating sugar, and that really helps me as well.
How is that? Because I have a sweet tooth.
Yeah, honestly, like I used to be able to devour, and I probably could still devour a whole like tray of 12 Krispy Kremes, not even touch the side. So I know that's something that physically I need to not do that.
How fast was your marathon? What did you do your marathon in? Just out of interest, and where did you do it?
I did it Manchester Marathon, and it was like just under 4 hours, like 3:50.
Wow, that's so good.
6 or something. Yeah, I was happy with it. I died I didn't die. I literally, the last 3 miles was a walk, and the funniest thing is one of my friends was there champing on a lot of other people in Manchester, and she caught me in the last like mile where I was almost like crawling, and she was walking alongside me taking pictures like that.
That you love your friends when they do that.
I love it. I loved it. I was like, great, why not?
Yeah.
But also, it was just literally I was walking that slowly that she was able to like keep up with me, and she was wearing like full jeans and stuff like that, and like a heavy coat. Yeah, exactly. High heels, and she's keeping alongside me. I wouldn't be able to do that now though.
That's brilliant.
But we're here to talk a bit more about you and where you how you got to where you got to. So you're the MD and current transitioning process with Broadly Speaking. So we had a brief chat a week ago, and you told me a bit about your background. I was like, this is really interesting, and I think a lot of people would like to hear about how you got to where you got to. So can you tell us, first of all, introduce Broadly Speaking, and then I'll dig a bit deeper.
Yeah, brilliant. So Broadly Speaking, so we're a global B2B sales and marketing agency, and the business has been going for nearly 28 years. Had a very inspirational start and birth from Broadley, who is the former MD and founder of Broadly Speaking, hence the name. She used to be quite a top sales person in advertising in London, and her and her husband decided to move to the southwest, to Devon, to raise their children. She quickly got bored after not just being a parent, but, you know, she had the kids and everything. She was like, now what do I do? And she was like, I want to get back into work. So she started the business from her front room. So she's been one of my inspirations over the 12 years I've been at Broadly Speaking. So yeah, we support businesses globally with any of their new business development and marketing needs. Anyone who operates in complex sales cycles, or they have high value products and services that they're looking for help with new customer acquisition, growth within existing clients, and so on. So yeah, that's Broadly Speaking in a nutshell.
So it'd be interesting to dig down into what you mean by a complex sales cycle, because I know I work quite a bit with B2B, and some sales cycles can be 18 months plus for a good new client. So what does complex sales cycle mean for you guys?
It's a great question, and actually it's good to look at where we don't kind of operate, and it's that high volume transactional call center type business. That's not what we are. It's about a sophisticated approach to sales and sales led marketing. So a complex sales cycle, it goes back to really looking at the landscape of sales now, when you're looking in the B2B higher value of products and services space, where there's lots of different buyers involved. I think if you look at Philip Kotler, Miller Hyman, some of those kind of influencers on sales and marketing, the processes and the approaches that have been around for years are still very much fundamental, those principles in what we do. You might have 5, 6, 10 buyers who could be involved in any significant B2B purchase. So if you can imagine, as you say, some of our client sales cycles are 5 years from conception in that first appointment. So that's what we do, is our job is to get them in there with a senior buyer who's got the budget authority and need at the right time, preferably, and actually influence the decision for that purchase of the product or service. And that can take, sometimes 18 months, 5 years. One of our clients recently, we set an appointment for them. They work in the EV charging and cabling space, and some of their products are worth anything from $1 million to 50 million a year.
Yeah.
5 years ago, we set an appointment, our first appointment, and they've just converted it into new business, and that's worth about 20 million a year for them. So that takes so much to build that relationship, get them in there early, influence all those different decision makers. Some of them you don't need to meet with, but they need to know who you are, and they have power over the product and service. So complex is not necessarily a complex product or service, because that is another thing where we've worked with businesses who do antimicrobial coatings for heart implants, and atomic layer deposition, which is way beyond my knowledge base, by the way, so don't ask me any questions on that. We had a science team looking after that. But I think it's getting more complex with any value B2B product and service now. Customers want more from you. They want to know more. They've got higher expectations. It's highly competitive out there. So yeah, we've got our work cut out for us for sure.
Well, that's part of the interesting thing with the B2B side of things, is because I don't work so much in the direct to consumer or B2C. But sometimes I look over and think, you could just put an advert out and 5 seconds later they've bought the thing. But then you have to have massive high volume. But it's such a personal approach almost with the B2B. Like I say, you find that first stakeholder who's got any kind of authority that can take it to the next stage. And I would like the way you said about 5 different buyers. I didn't necessarily call them buyers, but yes, key stakeholders or
Yep.
influencers within the
Yep.
business. And then when it comes to legal, wow, that can be one thing. And then if there's any kind of technical implementation, that whole process can like really explode, open up Pandora's box in terms of what needs to happen to make things happen. So the levels of due diligence can be insane. But then if it all works, the payoff is fantastic. And then
Absolutely.
hey, they don't want to churn away from that, do they? They don't want to go through that process again. Why would they? So
No, and I think
it's worth the effort.
Absolutely. But I think a lot of businesses out there who are still in quite reactive mode, so they wait for tenders to drop. They wait for, there to be an opportunity kind of land on their lap.
Radar.
And that's just because they've operated like that. And it probably seems quite daunting. God, we've got to spend months and years trying to influence all these buyers, trying to meet with them, trying to, use a hyper personalized approach, as you say, because when you've got that buying group or stakeholder group, that matrix, they're all going to be very different people in different roles, have different needs, have different challenges that keep them awake at night. So you can't treat them all the same. Because they can be like, well, hey, I'm in finance. Why are you treating me like somebody in procurement? That doesn't resonate with me. So I think sometimes it can seem like a lot of work, but as you say, the payoff, and what we try and do is take the pain away from clients. So we do all that legwork. We do all that foot soldier piece, and then they get the qualified appointments and go and do their great job at selling.
And how do you position yourself with your potential clients and current clients in terms of a lot of the ways you don't wait for it to fall in your lap? What's the how do people react to that? Because I know a lot of businesses are built from referral, and a lot of people aren't natural salespeople. They're not a lot of companies aren't naturally going out there. How do you position yourself to show your benefit and show you can do and back yourselves up and show you can walk the walk?
I think that's a great question, and you're right. A lot of senior sales teams are operations backgrounds, technical backgrounds. So a lot of the businesses we kind of engage with, it's right at that first step. So it's right in that first exploratory conversation. So the way we can position ourselves best is I don't sell or even talk really about the services that we offer in that first hour or two with a prospect. When I first get them face to face or on Teams, it's about, you've got to really find out what makes them tick, what their culture is as a business, what they're focusing on, what their wider objectives are, what their perception of a lead, of how they run their sales cycles, how they operate as a business. There's a lot of traditional businesses out there where they don't do the multi-channel approach, and there might be someone in place that doesn't really see the value of that. And it's about really getting under their skin and getting in the DNA of that business, the people who you're talking to, the sales leaders, the marketing. How does it all work? And then it's about asking those provocative questions. Okay, so you've done it like this for 20 years and it's not really working. What about looking at it like this? What if I gave you a magic wand, what would good look like? You're telling me you want to grow 20% year on year, but you're not willing to look at LinkedIn paid campaigns to influence your buyers who are all over LinkedIn. So we know it takes 8 to 10 touch points to get somebody interested, get them over that level.
Some people are saying 16 now, 16 touch points for that.
Wow, there you go. Yeah. And that doesn't surprise me. It's just getting more and more. So I think it's all in that first exploratory conversation. And if I really feel like someone isn't bought into the value of new business development, the way we do things, then it probably wouldn't be a relationship we can work with. They do have to be open to a certain level on, and we're really clear, transparent on our KPIs, the deliverables, give them case studies, talk them through how it works with other clients. But I think we position ourselves differently depending on who the business is, what they're looking to achieve, and they've got to feel like we're an extension of their team, not an outsourced, just a third party, because it doesn't work like that. It's collaboration both ways.
Yeah, awesome. How did you join Broadly Speaking? 12 years is quite a stint for most people these days.
I know.
It looks like you're taking the helm shortly, or you are taking the helm.
Yeah, I did. I was a bit unconventional with my route into business, so I just left school at GCSEs, just went out into the world of work, loved working, and came up with Broadly Speaking in 2013. So I went for it, and it took me quite a long time to get the job. Sorry if you can hear the dog barking. Shush.
No, we have tend to have a lot of dogs and cats on
He likes to
Teams,
be vocal.
and
He's like,
he sings
Toby, why aren't
on
you asking me
podcasts.
a question? I'm really important in this.
What favourite dog biscuit? What's your favourite dog biscuit? That's a question for you, dog. I don't know why I'm asking that.
A Good Boy one. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen them. 'Cause I always call
No,
him
I
a
haven't.
Good Boy. Then I found a brand called Good Boy, and he loves them. So that's his.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and then I joined Broadly Speaking, and I instantly fell in love with the business, the culture, the people, and I just thought, wow. I looked at the leadership at the time, Hilary and David and Isabel, who've been there for. Isabel's still with us. She's one of my co-directors. She's been at the business 20 years, and I thought, wow, if people have been there that long, there must be a reason. And yeah, it's been an incredible journey, and the business has been very supportive. And I've got knocked back and gone for positions I haven't got, but I've just that fire and passion for growing the business. I always thought I really want to help grow this business further, like beyond, So I'm just gonna keep going. And I've had exposure and working in so many different industries for so many different clients in so many different locations. I think we punch above our weight. We're down in Devon. People go, "Where are you? Where are you in London?" I don't know if you get that. Everyone goes, "Oh, you live in the UK, or you must live in London." No, there's other places outside of London in the UK.
Places with fresh air, open spaces.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, Hilary and David were kind of looking at the succession plan a few years ago, and I realised I hadn't done my A-levels or been to university. So then I went and I've done qualifications on the job through like diplomas and so on. But I thought I need more exposure to business management on the strategic level rather than the doing. So that's when I got in and did the MBA with Exeter University for 2 years. That gave me massive support for a really good understanding of what it takes, and all the different moving parts of running a business.
Is that support or confidence, or both?
I think, confidence. I probably mean confidence, and because you know what it's like. You're like, well, I don't know everything. How am I gonna sort accounting out if I don't know anything about bookkeeping or finance? That's not my strong point. I'm a seller. I'm, the warm, fuzzy, happy, have a chat with anyone kind of, and I love the blue skies thinking and the creative side of things. But if you put a spreadsheet of finance in front of me, I'm like, really?
Get it out of there.
Yeah, I know. But David, my boss and director, always said to me, you just need the people around you that know exactly what to do. You just need great people around you that you're confident know everything. You don't need to know everything. You need a great team that knows everything in every part, and you just need to have that like umbrella understanding and view of it. So that did help.
So with the MBA, you said, forget me if I'm wrong, you went from GCSE straight into work, and then you didn't do a degree, you went straight into an MBA from that?
Yeah, it took quite, so at Exeter University at the time were doing a senior leader MBA. So I had to interview for it. So you had to demonstrate 5 years of senior leadership to be able to even be considered to do the MBA, because I didn't have a degree or anything like that. I'd never even written an essay. So I was like, right, we'll just think about that if you get in. So yeah, it took me a good couple of months, lots of interviews, chats with their team to know that I was kind of ready for it, and I could get value out of it. So yeah, I got in, and then it was amazing because it was not just all the theory, because I'm not one that can just sit there and read off a board and learn in that way. I have to do it. So, and I could put so much of it into practice in the moment on the job, which was just amazing. So I learned and was able to implement a lot of that learning constantly, which was fantastic. So I'm glad I waited years and started my education and did a degree when I was in my late 20s, rather than, because I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was younger.
I mean, it's interesting now. I find I'm fascinated with the youth. I don't know why I said that. I sound like I'm ancient now, but I'm fascinated with a few aspects of the up and coming generation. One being that, well, I'll go there, but a lot of kids don't drink as much as we did when we were younger, as I did when I was younger. fewer kids going to university generally because they want because they want to go down the entrepreneurial aspect. And it got me kind of thinking, because when I was growing up, it was like, well, you're going to go to university, and that's that, Kobe. And I never questioned it. I was always like, yeah, I'm going to go to university, mainly because I know it's going to be a blast for 3+ years. But now I think, what is that actually the best use of time and money? Now, would that be the best way to do things? Because you don't necessarily need that to get into business or do the job you want to do or have the career you want to have, unless you want to be a doctor or specific engineer, then or lawyer. It's like, is it really worth it? So the fact that you're kind of showing your testament to this, that okay, at one point maybe to get to the next level it will help, but maybe had you done an English degree and then gone into an MBA, would that have helped you get the career or get to the stage where you are now? Maybe or maybe not.
Yeah, well, I didn't have any. The great thing is about doing it, I actually had work experience then to actually link that learning with when they were talking and when I was going through the lectures and when we were working on innovation and R&D. I was like, wow, like I can actually see how that would work. I've worked with clients and I have had real life experience. And do you know what? When I was younger, I think like an apprenticeship was a bit of like a dirty word, like, oh, you're not very bright if you go and do an apprenticeship, or there was that real stigma around it. You're only going to go places if you go to university. So I kind of left school thinking, well, I haven't gone to university just because I don't know what I want to do. And my parents were kind of like, you do what you want to do, we'll support you in whatever you want to do. So there wasn't really, it was kind of like, oh, if you go into the world of work, that's all you're going to be doing, working and doing whatever for the rest of your life. There wasn't like a push to go, hey, apprenticeships. Like these days, apprenticeships are amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
You get apprenticeships at some of the most amazing inspirational businesses out there, big and small, and you can grow with the business. I think that's amazing. And actually, no, I was just going to say, some of our best people haven't even come from a background of business or sales or marketing. And it's about their attitude and their personality and being able to mold them into, if you have those key characteristic traits of curiosity, inquisitiveness, you're a listener, you're, driven. You don't have to be super driven. If everyone was super driven, the world would be a bit of an unusual place. Some of our best people have come from really random backgrounds.
Oh, it's great you're able to bring them into the team and not have that, like, looking at their CV and saying, you're not going to A-levels, you're not going to
come on.
university. Yeah, we need that. And I think we need more of that. And going forward, I mean, the job I do now didn't exist when I was at school. And who knows what the future generations are going to be doing going forward. So to have such a prescriptive education set up to drive your future generations doesn't necessarily help. So no. I think teaching and education ideally should be teaching them about mindset and that willing to learn and desire to learn and pick up new skills and share with people. And
and you own your own destiny. I know that's really cliche and a bit cheesy, but you do. Like, that's something that I've learned and something that's a bit of a light bulb moment for me. Like, I'm in control of where I want to be, where I want to go. If I wanted to change in 2 years, if I wanted to go and do something different, well, I can make that happen. Only I can make that happen. So I think a lot of us kind of wait, or a lot of people feel like they have to wait for permission to do things, when actually just go out and crack on. Like, I was putting my hand up going, I want to do that, knowing full well I wasn't ready to do it. But hey, I'm going to learn from either getting it or not.
You're not going to succeed the first time with many things you do. So
no.
So it's like, just have a go. And if this marathon you're going to do, it'll be interesting to see whether you do another one. I know some people like myself who've done one. I was like, that's fine.
Yeah, no thanks.
I would do one, and I would definitely do one. But some people I know, they did one marathon and now they've done like 30 in the space of like 3 years. And I'm like, okay, that's
I'll ring you on the 12th of May, the day after, and let you know how I'm feeling.
Yeah, but then ring me like 3 weeks later and say, actually,
when I've recovered. And I think it's part of that is like with these long runs and marathons. And I know some of my friends who've had children say the body kind of forgets the pain bit of it. And it just the mind remembers the great feeling and, all the positive associations with it. So that's why I think a lot of the time keep going back to doing the things. And then you think, God, why have I done this again? Why am I putting myself through this again? I forgot how hard it was.
I think especially with that big event like London Marathon, where you just literally supported all the way through the whole course, and you just got all the support, people giving you jelly beans, and jelly babies, and all these
brownies.
exactly, to push you along, and they just and you got your name on your label, so they're shouting like, "Go on, Brooke! Go on, Kobi!" It is kind of like addictive scenario. But yeah, that's a similar kind of thing, right? That's we're talking to. So this podcast is called Aha Moments, Brooke, and you know it's coming. We've got 3 questions to ask you. The first question being, can you think of an aha moment it's probably going to be for Broadly Speaking, where your clients have found that aha moment, and how you then engineer and get your other clients and customers to that point to get them to see the benefit of what you guys do?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think with customers specifically and clients, it's about, and I know I think I've mentioned it before, but it's about treating us as an internal resource, seeing us as an internal team. So not external. The way it works really well, and I know clients after 6 months or so say, "Wow, like I just see you as part of our team." We go and exhibit with them. We go and, our team really immerse themselves into everything. And that's how it works, because we're not just passing them leads and that's the handover point. We work with them. We join their sales meetings. We join their marketing meetings. We get ourselves in with all their different teams to find out, we work really hard to embed ourselves. And one of my clients was like, "Actually, you're employed by us, like you're just like part of our team." I'm like, "Yes, we are. That's what we want you to feel like. We're not just someone that comes across and hands over leads and that's it. We're in it for the long run." And that's where I think it's looking at it as a partnership and collaboration, and we're there to help them win. And that is what I think sometimes there's a perception of how to work with a lead gen agency or a sales agency. Pick them up for 6 months, generate some leads. I want 50 leads in 2 months, great expectations, and that's it. And then you can't turn the sales engine off. I think that's what it is. Actually, you cannot. It's an ongoing, consistent process and approach that needs to be always on.
So with that moment where people realize, oh, you've actually you're actually our team now. So how long does that typically take, if there's such a thing as typically? And do people seem resistant to that? Because the reason I ask this is sometimes when I start with a new client, there's almost like a standoffishness of like, okay, we need like a new website. Not happy about this, but we need to. And you seem like a nice person. You can make our website for you. But then after a while, when it's just like you have that regular rapport, then it becomes there's more work comes your way and things like that. And then, like you say, it becomes like a meshed team, meshed part of the team. But with your experience, is there like a typical switch point where it becomes like, oh, you are us now, and not client. What's it called? We're not just your client. You are.
Yes.
So is there like a typical point where you're like, okay, next week or next coming weeks, we'll definitely like hook into them and everything will be a lot easier, if that makes sense?
Yeah, no, it does. I think it depends on how open the client. So what's tough is when we obviously work with, our work expands over multiple teams, whether it's sales, marketing, digital, finance, strategic accounts, key accounts teams. There's so many different teams in these organizations where you might have a really good relationship with 2 of them, and then maybe another 2 don't know you quite as well, aren't quite as bought in, and they're like, "Oh, I don't really know, I think they're coming after my job," and things like that. There's a lot of the political element to it. So I can say sometimes it can take like a year to really get ingrained and embedded with the business, and because there's a lot of people who've had bad experiences as well out there. So when I talk to a lot of prospects and clients that come on board, they go, "Oh, we tried this 2 years ago and it was an epic fail." And then they brand every business like ours with the same delivery or lack of delivery, and that. So it takes so much time to build trust. That's the key thing. Is trust. And it takes time. It can take years to build it and like 2 minutes to break it. So I think with the more open-minded businesses and less traditional businesses. Now we work in industrial automation, manufacturing, engineering, equipment suppliers, they can be more traditional, so they're not used to doing things in the way that we're constantly developing, constantly innovating. Like you, there's different ways of doing things all the time. There's new tools you can use, new automations, AI, everything's woven through what we do. We have to adopt it all the time. But they're still like, oh no, I've done like this for 20 years and it's worked, worked to a point, and that's how it's going to stay. So if you could just, plug in to help us with this, that would be great. I'm like, probably not going to work like that. So yeah, maybe 3 to 6 months for a business who are like really up for it, and we get in there and all their teams, they go, hey guys, all these teams are involved, and we do a workshop right at the start of any campaign where we get all their teams and all our team in a room for about 4 hours, half a day, and we flesh out the whole plan, air any concerns, any different viewpoints on what we're going to be doing, different needs, all of that all gets fleshed out. So we kind of set that standard right at the start.
So when that aha moment happens, do you feel like a shift in the relationship and things become easier?
Absolutely. Because then clients start to include you. They come to you, they go, oh, I've just been thinking about doing this. What do you think? So when clients start coming to you, asking you questions that are going to influence their wider business strategy and the tactics they're using across the business, you think, wow, that level of trust really, it's
expanded.
Yeah. And it feels amazing. And you think, this is fantastic. And you get that extra energy level and passion, because we have to be passionate about selling, the cable harnessing, and then food and beverage cartoning and packaging. We have to build that passion. But when we know a client is really on board with what we do, and we like to have quite an open relationship, like I'd much prefer to have a conversation if a client's got a concern to come straight to me and flesh it out. Don't sit on it, come to me, we'll sort it out. Not everything runs perfectly all the time, we know that things go wrong, how you work together to deal with that, and that's much easier when you work in a partnership with somebody.
So one key question I ask with potential new clients is, do you have an ICP? And it sounds like it'll be hard to pin yours down. Can you pin yours down?
I don't think we can. Maybe. I think we've tried. Our marketing team are always like, right, I need an ideal client profile. And we're always asking our customers, our clients, right, what's your ideal client profile? But I think it comes down to the behaviors of a business rather than like a product or service or industry. I think if I was going to look at, it's a business that's looking for growth, that is open-minded to trying new things, experimental, and they're open to using different levels of support they may not have thought about before, and also someone with ambitious but realistic expectations and longevity. This short-termism piece is quite hard for us to work with. We just want to do a 3-month campaign and then that's it. Well, it takes time to build momentum, to get the engine running, to see opportunities flowing through. So it's someone who has that long-term vision of success and growth, and that's where we really work well. So I'd say it's probably the behaviors of a business that we really look for in our ideal client.
How do you evaluate that in the first meeting or so? Because that sounds, that sounds like something you can't really plug into Sales Navigator.
No, I wish we could. One day we might be able to. I think it's about our questioning and in that initial conversation to get to really feel. I think it's using your instinct and intuition as our senior team when we have those conversations with people about how they respond to certain things. We really kind of ask those questions they may not have thought about. We're a bit challenging sometimes in a good, in a healthy way, to say, well, if you've done it this way for this long, how are you going to get to where, that something doesn't quite add up? What do you see changing? How can we support that? So it's about your questioning techniques and getting a sense of how open do we think that they are? How do we think we could work with them? And, if I'm honest, you do have to turn some people away, because if I don't think it's going to work, if I don't think it's going to work and our cultures won't align and our principles and values, and everyone's got to have a different view of things. It's great, diversity in thinking, diversity in all of that is great. But it drives the wrong behaviours. And it's usually quite a toxic relationship we would have then, rather than, and the team don't really want us, go on the calls with the clients because they're not professional, or they don't see it the way we want them to see it. So it's quite hard. So I think we've learned that over the years, that actually it's not worth it.
Yeah, of course. So the second aha moment question is what aha moments have you had, or an aha moment you've had in a product or service that you buy yourself, that you use either for business or for pleasure?
Oh, myself.
So it could be an app, it could be exercise bike.
Well, I'd probably have to say, if there's an aha moment with something I've put, is running shoes.
Oh, wow.
I've never had I just thought, just get a pair of 50 quid, New Balances. It'll be fine. That'll be fine to help you go fast. Then there's carbon plated running shoes.
Yeah.
God, it is a minefield. I have a new appreciation for lovely running shoes. And I think investment in your joints, it's not only, it's your joints, it's your, you don't want to get injured. I don't want to have, go losing all my toenails in runs and so on. Not a very nice look. So I'd say, that is one investment you have. It doesn't matter what shorts you're wearing or T-shirt or whatever, but your shoes are critical to your performance and to support your physical health.
A friend told me, I bumped into a friend like 20 years ago, and he's like, yeah, I just did a half marathon, Kobi. And it's like, that's insane. What are you talking about? Because I thought it's supposed to, even the 25-ish or whenever that happened, for some reason I felt that was for elite athletes, and he definitely wasn't one. He definitely wasn't one of those. And then he told me he spent like £100 on running trainers, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about again. This makes no sense to me. Then like a year later, I'm going to running shops and I'm doing like the
gait analysis.
The gait analysis, and like not caring about what it looks like, but what it feels like, and spending too much time on running and triathlon magazines, evaluating different trainers. I was like, oh, do I want low profile ones? Do I want light ones?
No.
Do I want ones just for the race?
This is it. There's ones for distance, for speed, for over, all the different styles of gait, the drop that you've got on there, and you don't realize it until. So I've recently got a new pair of shoes because I was like, oh god, I've done like nearly 500 miles in my other shoes, and that's it.
So that's another thing. You're tracking the time and distance running these shoes as well. So you're well in there.
Yeah, because I've got Adidas trainers I've had for like 15 years, and they're still fine. They still get me from A to B, but these are different. So yeah, definitely, I think that was like a whoa. Okay, I do need to invest in these because this is helping on so many levels.
So what was it like getting the first decent pair of running shoes compared to
it was like running. It was like, I was like, oh my god, why have I not done this before? No wonder people are running and smiling for the first couple of miles because they haven't got flat trainers that are unsupportive, no you get no propulsion. It was just like a dream. I was like, wow, a pair of trainers that can actually propel you forward. I mean, it is amazing.
And then like I say, I fully get it, I understand. And now it's going to make me want to go onto wiggle.com if that still exists and look for new trainers.
Oh, it's fun.
And then if you do triathlons, because then you can get trainers which are more for like running off the bike and elasticated laces.
Amazing. Yeah. I don't like riding bikes. I won't go into that, but I've had me and cycling haven't had a very good history of me falling off and hurting myself lots. So I just stay clear of them.
That's fair. Don't hurt yourself. And the last question is, any personal aha moments or life hacks that you'd like to share?
Life hack. I honestly, and I think this has really come to me in the last year or so, is don't underestimate what you can do. And like I said before, you have to make things happen yourself. You can't wait and then, something might happen or somebody might, provide me an opportunity. You've just got to go out and get it, and it is painful, and sometimes I've put myself out of my comfort zone too much, and I've really felt that. But I think it's about pushing yourself at a level that you can deal with and you can that helps you grow. I would definitely say it's believe in yourself. I think a lot of people don't believe in themselves and their own, and everyone comes from different backgrounds and everyone does things differently and so on. But if you don't believe in yourself, you can't believe in everyone else around you. And I've got an amazing team and they're amazing. They help me believe in, what we can do and what we can achieve all the time. So I think it's having confidence. I get imposter syndrome all the time, but I think everyone does.
Well, I was saying to someone literally yesterday, if I meet someone who hasn't got imposter syndrome, then I probably wouldn't get on with them.
No, yeah, I agree. I'm like, sometimes I come off calls, I'm like, why do they ask, why are they listening to me? I don't understand. Like, because I still view that 23-year-old apprentice who's just started, fresh with a little file of facts, ready to go. So yeah, I think you've got to make it happen for yourself and believe in yourself, because actually what you think is impossible is usually not impossible.
Awesome. I like that as a way to end. Brooke, are you happy for people to get in contact with you on LinkedIn and via the Broadly Speaking website?
Yep, I am an open book. If anyone's heard anything that they think is remotely interesting, they can
I'm sure they will
come and have a chat with me. Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining me. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you, Kobi. It's been fantastic.